What is up, everyone? We are back with another blah, 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 blah. We're back. Yeah, we are back with another Big Sis podcast. Welcome back. Remember, this is a safe haven. I am Big Sis Val, and this is my girl,
Big Sis Ange here.
And today we're going to be talking about the topic about value, right? And understanding your value. What kind of value do you bring to the table? And this is something that not everybody knows right off the bat. I didn't know what I brought to the table, and I still kind of, I'm still figuring it out, right? But I at least have somewhat of an idea now. Angie, what does value mean to you? Like as far as a person bringing their value to the table, what does that mean to you?
Well, when I think of values, I think of standards, I think of boundaries, I think of how that person holds and carries themselves. That's kind of like the biggest thing I take away from this. Know your worth. In other words, like understand what your position is and express it. Because if you don't express it, then you are worthless to others in their eyes. So, or maybe not worthless. So that's kind of a terrible word, but they're not going to hold you to those standards that you hold yourself to. So you want to make sure people match that and understand, like, okay, that's someone I don't want to mess with. That's not someone I want to fuck with. Like, you have to express and come out that way, because then people are going to take advantage of you, or you're going to get into a situation where you are kind of, I hate to say this, but kind of like a beta in a sense, I guess. Like people are going to take advantage of you, talk shit, whatever, walk all over you. And that's what you initially avoid, I think, especially with any kind of encounter. Because if someone is able to walk all over you from the get-go, then they're going to keep walking all over you, honey. They're going to keep on doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, if you give them an inch, some people will take a mile and they'll take advantage of you. I've been told, well, I've heard in my like earlier years that I'm a little too nice, right? Or I was. Don't mess with me now. But and having, that, I guess, that type of personality where you kind of care a little too much about what other people think. You kind of tiptoe around, you kind of tiptoe throughout your life just because, you're worried about, so and so's thinking, or I get really intimidated whenever I'm in like an authority figure place, whenever I'm in like a company or doctor's offices or dentist offices where there's a lot of authority around, and I get really intimidated, and I kind of like act like a little child, honestly, where I'm like asking permission a lot, like, oh, is it okay if I do this? Oh, like, and then I'm perceived as this youthful little girl that is figuring it out in life. And I don't know, there's a difference. So point is now whenever I walk around, and I walk around with like my chest a little higher, and I walk around with like more of a like authority voice rather than like, hey, like, and I don't know, just the way you go about things, and and how your mannerism, how your body language is, how your tonality is, how your confidence is, that really says something. And I noticed that people will treat you differently. People will respond to you differently. How you dress, if I dress like like this, and I'm wearing jewelry, and I'm like, okay, here we go, this is what I'm gonna say, they will respond to you and react to you the way you deserve, or the way that you're intending to. Rather, I don't know, like I actually did a little experiment one time where I dressed like a complete like bum, where I was wearing like sweatpants, I had my hair in a bun, like no makeup, didn't care, like, and I used to roam around like that, thinking like, I mean, well, that's okay, it is okay. But like, my point is I noticed where I was treated differently. I would go to the gas station, and they were just like, yeah, oh, you need gas on pump number 7. All right, what, they didn't ask me if I wanted the receipt. They were like, hey, cool. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm just taking it away, but I specifically noticed how I was treated, and I wasn't treated with as much respect, I don't know, as I thought.
I mean, it's funny that you say that, because I kind of feel a little bit the opposite.
Really?
and only because I mean, you know me, like, your girl can look like a complete bum, like living on the street one day, and then like be looking like slaying the day kind of thing, It's just,
Right. Me too.
and what I find is that aside from like looks, granted, like, looks are something, you're probably more attractive when you try or whatever, and people treat you differently. But if you're not feeling attractive or feeling like to look a specific way that day, if you carry yourself a different way, you're still going to kind of get that same respect because people still understand, or just from your demeanors, your body language, everything else, that you're just not someone that they can take advantage of. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, 100%, and that's true. And I guess I shouldn't let my appearance, affect like how I really feel, But I don't know, it really does a number to me. Like for some reason, I'm super sensitive to like whatever I'm wearing on the outside. Like for some reason, really affects how I feel inside,
Yeah.
and
And
it's just something that I'm still trying to
yeah.
build.
I'm like,
Yeah,
feel good because I'm like, I mean, the way I see it, it's like it's kind of like a quote unquote asset for you. It's like something people can appreciate of you, but now take an extra step and take that within and be like, okay, like aside from my outside looks that I'm happy with, now I need to focus on the inner and be like, I need to be content with myself, no matter what I look like that day or what I'm wearing. Like, sure, I like to dress up and feel good, look good, type of thing. But even on my worst days, I still internally feel good. You feel?
yeah. Wow. You're inspiring, Angie. No, yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, I really shouldn't let my appearance on the outside dictate how I feel on the inside. Like, if I'm so centered and I'm so, you know, like I guess satisfied or complete or content with how I am internally, it really shouldn't matter how or what the heck I'm wearing on the outside. I can be wearing a freaking potato sack or a trash bag and be like, what?
Own it. Own that trash bag, girl.
What?
You got a problem here? That I'm wearing a trash bag.
It's a new trend. It's breathable. It's plenty of room.
But yeah, no, that's definitely something I've noticed, and maybe I didn't like experiment per se, but it's just funny that I've noticed that I get the same kind of like I let off the same kind of demeanors and mannerisms, like just who I am comes out either way. And I guess it's just about like congruency, where it's like if you can do that in every area of your life, like that's when you know you're like content inside, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know, maybe I'm still like, finding myself and
Yeah,
being comfortable with myself, and it's still an exercise or it's still a muscle that I'm trying to exercise,
because I'm sure it
but
works out for you like in other ways, or like sometimes, or maybe not all the time. But I think, like you said, it's just something over time you will feel more comfortable. And I kind of wanted to get into that, where it's like how can someone who is maybe not 100% content, or maybe they don't know their worth, like what is something they can do? What comes to your mind?
well, something that's really simple, but also for some reason pretty hard as well as affirmations. I mean, it's like the simplest form of reprogramming your brain that you can do. Is like saying these ritual words in the morning or in the at night before you sleep, or listening to some kind of audio where it's just programming like your self-worth. um, and something that I've learned over the years is if you record your own voice saying these affirmations, these positive messages, I am worthy, I am confident, I am, whatever your affirmations are, when you hear it in your own words, that's like the best form of hypnosis that you can do for yourself, just because it's in your own voice, and you're gonna the retention of the words are gonna be better. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Something I thought of is, aside from the affirmations, of course, that's like the most important thing I would say to kind of reprogram you. But I also think you need to expose yourself a little bit out into the world to identify what that worth is to you. Like you're gonna experience the ugly and the good because that's just a part of life. But now, when you go through experiences that you don't like or that you do like, you know how to establish those standards for future reference. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
you know your worth at that point because now you can speak it from an experience state versus like an inexperience.
I like that. So go out there and
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah, because you're gonna learn, sometimes people have to learn the hard way or choose to learn the hard way, and that's fine because I feel like, your experiences kind of shape you who you are, and you end up creating boundaries and just creating those standards based on your experiences that you've had in the past. And they're not hard. I mean, excuse me, they are hard to times and hard things to deal with, but ultimately at the end of the day, you're gonna understand that you're worthy of whatever that means to you.
Yeah. So trial and error. You gotta, and also experience. Like, no matter how much you study or use affirmations, nothing is going to compare to actually getting out there and failing, quote, quote, failing maybe, or getting rejected or denied, but taking that and using it either as momentum or fire or fuel. And just taking it and learning from it. It wasn't a fail. It was, you're failing forward. You're learning, you're taking it, and you are progressing either way. I like that.
Right? Because the way I look at it, and this is like a great analogy, is okay, say there's a boxer, right? They're a fighter. You're a fighter. And now you get hit in the face and you realize, shoot, I don't like getting hit in the face. Now, what can I do to avoid getting hit in the face? Now you gotta drill the blocks so that you don't get hit in the face. So when it comes to fighting again, you have those quote unquote standards and you won't get hit in the face. Maybe you will, in a sense, but at least you try to block it now that you have that skill versus you getting repetitively hit and not knowing what to do.
Me, I'm just kidding. I'm like, what's wrong? Keep getting hit in the face. Try blocking it. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, it happens.
Exactly.
You have to learn, it's just something that, like I said, I think people want to focus so much about, like you said, the reading, the affirmations and all that, which is all great material, but up until the point where you can take it and like really implement it in your life, kind of like cold calling, when you learn a script but you don't use it while you're on the phone, then it's kind of pointless of you learning a script.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And we've all done it. Like, I've done that shit so many times, I can't even tell you. So, and it's just funny. We get stuck in like analysis paralysis in a sense.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, that's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Super real. I didn't even know. I couldn't determine what it was. I didn't know it was a real thing. I thought it was just me being like, like, I don't know. I was like, you know what? I just need a moment.
Anyway, but any final thoughts on this, or what are you thinking?
I guess. No. I mean, just. I mean, okay, yeah. My final thoughts. I'm a person who really likes to, or thinks that she needs to prep a lot before anything in life, right? I like to just make sure that I'm ready, that I have everything in my little box and a bow and it's ready to go. But like Angie just said, just get out there and do it, and then see how you go and adjust how you as you go. Compared to just, because I mean, that's honestly one of the best advices I can give you, is just to do it and to learn and trial and error rather than overanalyze and prep and try to, just prep, because, nothing is going to prepare you for the actual experience.
Yes.
Except just experiencing it.
Exactly. No, yes, I agree with that. And the last thing I want to leave you guys with is like, think of when you actually experience something that tests your standards or your worth, right? And if you defend your case or you set the tone, whatever the case is, if you just like stand up for yourself or have those standards and worthy in that moment, it's going to feel so good versus you going home later that day and be like, fuck, I let that person talk to me like that. Which way do you want to handle it? Do you want to go home and feel like shit, or do you actually want to be like, hell yeah, I stood up for myself?
Yeah, I get you. I mean, there has been a few times in my life where I'm like, dang, I should have said this and this and this. That would have been cool.
Yeah. It happens, but next time when you approach something like this, think about that. Be like, am I gonna go home and feel okay about this, or can I say something right now, or can I do something right now?
Pop, drops mic. That was good.
But guys, thanks again for tuning in as always with us here at Big Sis Podcast. And as always, you guys have our email address to reach us with any kind of question at bigsisquestion@gmail.com. That pause because we always forget.
We want to make sure you guys are hearing it right and getting the right email. bigsisquestion@gmail.com.
There you go. All right. Thanks again. And we'll see you on the next one.